people want us divided, and they aren't just here in this country. They're foreign adversaries who are infiltrating our social media because it is prudent for us to stay that way. So when you see something that really pisses you off, you should triple check that one.
Yeah. But I think that that's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
we're checked by everybody.
Yeah. I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
The human legal note.
But we went from Walter Cronkite basically to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons? He believes in dragons.
Did you triple force that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur-y type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out there.
Well, in defense, there are some really good news.
It's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
There are some really good news kind of influencer types, and I think it's great that they're getting information about global and current events in front of younger people who maybe don't tune into traditional media. But to Sarah's point, there has to be some fact checking and actually verification of the things that are shared, because I spend a lot of time on Instagram Reels and I'm served up things that I get outraged about, and then I realize, oh, that's not even true, but I have the sense to go and look it up. But what I do worry about with this, like the Blue Sky versus X, because a lot of people I follow on X, Twitter, have now left to go to Blue Sky, I worry we're all going into our own echo chamber. So we had this, this election that was tense.
And according to The View, the echo chamber is filled with people like Joe Rogan, who in their view are completely factually inaccurate, as opposed to The View, which just, is governed by ABC News, therefore must be factually perfect. Look, I got news for them. They have been wrong over and over and over again. And they're going to continue to be wrong. And then they sit there and they make fun of people like Rogan or, podcasts like this one. Reminder, subscribe, share, like, comment, all of that stuff. It's important. It's important so that we do all have a voice together. But here's Rogan firing back. And he's like, come on. I was talking to this guy, Forrest Gallant. Gallant put these ideas out there that, there could have been dragons roaming the earth in various times. And they went on to talk about how it is interesting that human beings always have had these visions of dragons, like going back thousands of years, right? In mythology, etc., dragon-like depictions. And so Joe went on to say that probably there was something, right? Like something. It doesn't necessarily mean there were dragons, but he wrote, quote, or said, quote, my position is that there were probably crocodiles or some big Komodo dragon or big lizard that did kill people, and so people fought them with swords and obscenity. And they came back with a story and the artist drew it. And then he went on to totally roast her and point out the obvious, which is that she's worried about losing her job. He said, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News and therefore you should trust us. He went on to say, but don't trust, Joe Rogan, of course, because he believes in dragons. So, quote, by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News and then making the stupidest effing statement, you didn't listen to what I said. You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist said. And he continued that, basically this is an example of really frantic behavior because, dun-dun-dun, she is concerned about losing her job. She's concerned about the numbers that podcasts bring in. Quote, when you're worried about losing your job and you're worried about podcasts taking over and who is the source of news, and we said Donald Trump is Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and this is crazy and Joe Rogan believes in dragons. It's just frantic, he said. He also made sure to wrap things up with saying, look, he has nothing against her. In fact, he'd give her a hug, and that, she's just a really worried woman who's concerned about losing her job.
Worried about losing your job and you're worried about podcasts taking over and who's the source of news. And we said Donald Trump is Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and he won. And this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
That's my favorite part at the end. Joe Rogan believes in dragons. Oh my gosh. Look, The View is struggling. They're struggling because their ratings are way down, just like the ratings are way down over as MSNBC, which is why, of course, Comcast is selling that company. And I do think that Disney is looking, don't take my word for it. Take Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney's word for it. He said they are looking expansively at how to get rid of these properties, how to get rid of ABC News, how to get rid of ABC, how to get rid of The View, because this is not a business that you really want to be in, do you? I mean, when you got a bunch of ladies going on set like this every single day?
You got to go to private school.
Because nobody can figure out what's being said here right now.
No, nobody can figure it out. So Joe Rogan admitting that the handwriting is on the wall for Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and the rest of them. They're concerned about losing their jobs. I've said this for a while. Piers Morgan now out with a new column. We talked about this on Wednesday. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Did you? I had a great Thanksgiving. Look, I'm still into Thanksgiving. I'm wearing my little pilgrim outfit. That's how into Thanksgiving I am. Anyway, Piers Morgan coming out saying The View is a pointless, irrelevant, Trump-loathing joke. You know, and that it's because of all this hyperbolic, I had problems with this word. The apocalypse. Just the other day, you guys were making fun of me. It's somehow, reading out of the corner of my eye and looking at the camera becomes problematic. But it is all about the apocalypse coming, right? And therefore, this is why this show is so over the top that, you go on and on about him being Hitler. And after a while, people get numb to that. And it wasn't how it was supposed to be. And he's pointing out, Piers is, that, when Barbara Walters created this thing, now deceased Barbara Walters, it was just supposed to be women with different opinions around the table discussing things. And that's not what it is anymore, because they hate who Donald Trump is. They hate him so much that they have basically turned themselves into a caricature. They kept saying, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Kind of a Chicken Little kind of experience watching that show. But let me read from Piers and from his column. He said, quote, "They all despise the man who is to be their president again. And that tediously myopic, one-sided act just won't play now that he's been given such a resounding endorsement from the American people." He writes, "I don't like cancel culture, but given that the hosts of The View have by their own admission worked so hard to cancel Donald Trump, it's time that they cancel themselves, right?" Oh, Whoopi wants you to know she's going to wait and see. She's going to back off saying anything bad against Donald Trump until he really does something spectacularly awful, because apparently nobody believes her when she says the sky is falling. So now she just needs to sit and wait. Either that or the producers told her, "Hey, look, lady, you're on thin ice."
I think what we're all saying is we're going to sit and watch. We're going to wait and see, because we can't do anything else except...
I'm not going to wait and see. I mean, this guy is told us he's a retribution. He's going to be a dictator.
There's nothing to be done until you know what you're fighting. It's pissing in the wind doesn't help. You just get a wet face.
But what I'm saying is I have no false expectations that at 78 he's going to all of a sudden turn into another human being. And I'm not going to spend I spent weeks telling people that he was apocalyptic. I'm not going to change now, because it's still the same man.
Not treating every single thing like
I think that's when we lose credibility.
Well, here's the thing. You lose credibility in many different ways. If you don't know what you're talking about and you accuse him of something, then they're going to blow it back. That's why I say we need to wait and see exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Can we not let Fox News off the hook, please?
I don't understand.
And Newsmax and all the fake news that's been going out there. One of the things that we need to do, and it's not to abolish the Department of Education. As a former teacher, believe me, he's talking about doing that.
Yes.
Kids I brought this up before, I'm going to bring it up again. In Finland, kids in nursery school are learning to discern between fake news and real news. Yeah. They should be teaching that in this country.
Yeah.
Teach children.
I just love that, because somehow this woman really and truly thinks she is fake news, and no, forgive me, she's real news. We know she's fake news. She is trying to say she's real news. Everybody else out there, they're all fake. She's the real deal. She's the real McCoy, because she's got ABC News checking her.
We went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons.
Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
Okay, I could just watch that all day long. I really, really, really could. Look, these people are just too much. Absolutely, positively too much.